Welcome back to Game 5, a situation that nobody expected, nobody predicted, and nobody anticipated. A quick stat just before we jump into draft. Rogue have been to 2 Game 5s previously in summer last year, where they lost Game 5 and were eliminated. In spring this year, when they got to Game 5, they lost and they were eliminated. And for the 3rd playoffs in a row, they are in Game 5. Now, this time is not elimination, as they will drop to the lower bracket, but they are do or die against Misfits, a team that they were supposed to clearly take down.
I'm gonna pull you back right here because yes, stakes, very important history, very important. But what's more important here is that to get that world spot, you need to have a good draft. And LeBlanc has been so instrumental for both these teams, having the strongest mid-jungle duo in this series has been it for the teams to win.
And of course, the slightly unique picks, the Fiora, the Lulu, they didn't pay dividends. Now, because Rogue lost Game 4, they had side selection, and for the 5th time today, elected to take blue side. They have banned Varus, Syndra, and Thresh all 4 games, and now for the first time, Rogue are pivoting.
I don't think Misfits have to, necessarily. I don't know if Misfits will choose to ban LeBlanc. No, they're forcing Rogue's hand on that one. Is Thresh gonna be open? Is Varus gonna stay open? Is Lucian gonna stay open? One of these picks is gonna make it through.
And the thing that I want to see from Misfits is, can they find another composition that allows them to skirmish? Trouble, we were having a conversation off air around how Misfits have been able to force Rogue to play their style of skirmishes.
If Misfits ban Varus here, I was about to say you can opt into the Syndra-Lucian matchup in the mid lane. Now, Vetheo is an insane Syndra player, and the champion is up for grabs and taken away from him.
It was Veteo's most played. I'm quickly getting to my stat sheet here for Syndra. 6th most played on the side of Larssen. 14 games, 57% win ratio. So Syndra locked in will now be that mid lane. And because we've talked so much about the mid-jungle duo, with Lee Sin being open and available, a pick that was hovered, was banned earlier in the series, it's gonna get moved away. I've not been in love with Ashe that I've seen this series, so we need to see how Kobbe plays it this time round.
I think it fits Kobbe's playstyle more than it fit Hansama playing the champion, just because Kobbe's the more laid-back ADC of the two. I like Hansama on something a little bit more aggressive, such as the Varus taking control of the lane, bleeding it through the map. And right now, Rogue have a very strong mid-jungle duo. What did I tell you during the break? The Akali is gonna come out.
Okay, Akali, 5th most played, 15 games, 73% win ratio. Now, what do you make Zhao, Akali into Viego Syndra?
This is gonna come down to the wire. That's what I think, because both of these couples are extremely skirmish heavy.
I love the word couple. I think that fits
It is
perfectly.
a couple. It's a mid-jungle couple.
It is indeed. And it has been really what's unlocked this game. I do think we need to turn our attention to the top lane now. We've been very excited, and we've both got jungle, mid, and bots locked in. Tom Kench banned away will remove one of the options that Odoamne used to destroy HiRit earlier. Jace has been removed for what HiRit used to destroy Odo.
I'm thinking right now. Ashe, Immobile, Kennen, up for grabs. Inspired playing the APA DAP would have been a dream for him. And we all know that Odoamne is one of the best cannons we have here in Europe.
Arguably the best. And the question is, what would it take for him to run that down? Now, of course, for Misfits, we're looking for the support. We're looking for the top laner. And with the Nautilus being hovered, that will give you some disengage tools, some abilities to have follow-up, which I love. That depth charge in conjunction with the Akali, in conjunction with Zhao. There is so much disruption between the Zhao and the Nautilus. It makes it very difficult for Viego, for Varus, for Syndra, who are actually relatively low mobility champions themselves.
Yeah. And what is left to pick down onto the support pool? Because Trymbi is literally a guy that has played everything from the Morganas, the Rells, the Gallios, you name it, he's picked it. Any of these 3 that I mentioned would be technically all right into what Nautilus and Ashe can do in the bot lane. They're going to opt to go with the Rell, the heavy engage. So far, all I'm seeing on the side of Rogue is go, 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 go. I wouldn't be surprised to even see like a Nocturne on the top side, or maybe a Renekton coming in from the side of Odoamne, something that can just dive deep into the backline.
I mean, what damage profile do they want? Cannon is still open.
You know you want it,
up there if
Odo.
they want to dive as well. It's going to be the Gwen. Now, we were not necessarily expecting this, and shaking your head a little bit. What's your take here on the Gwen?
It's not that it's a bad champion. It was recently nerfed, so it's not as strong as it used to be. Now, HiRit, he needs to redeem himself from that game 1 onto the Gnar. They're going to trust him again. I think what is really, really, really important to highlight is how resilient Misfits are on putting their faith back to back to back to back games onto HiRit, giving him that counter pick, trusting him, believing in him. Game 1, Gnar, really bad. Game 3, Fiora, really bad. The other 2, he popped the F off. That's why they trust him.
He did. The thing is, Misfits have to play around the Gnar more as well, right? Because on an individual level, HiRit needs to show mastery of the champion that he did not have earlier. It's also into a Gwen, which we were not necessarily expecting, but then as this draft has pivoted and evolved, we're very deep into the meta of Rogue versus Misfits. And there's a lot on the line here. You've heard it several times if you've watched the games. Whoever wins here has guaranteed worlds, but also will face off against the winner of G2 versus Mad Lions for shot at the finals. Shot at sitting on that championship Sunday. And of course, whoever loses this will be dropping down to the lower bracket. For Misfits, now the pressure's on them. Now the momentum is with them. This is a team that is surprised, was not meant to make it to Game 5, and somehow has forced Rogue all the way to breaking point. We're one nexus away from finding out your first European Worlds contestant. Now let's focus very heavily once again on the early game. Very heavily, especially on this mid-jungle combination. Viego, Syndra into the Zhao Akali. And of course, for Vetheo, a player that has played Akali 3 times this summer already. He's played Akali 15 times in his career. And I actually think Akali's one of the champions that I've seen him have significantly more impact on than in contrast to like the Zoe, which was his most famous pick, you know, when he first joined the league. So I do think there's a lot of faith, a lot of confidence and trust from the Misfits organization. But once again, the top half of the map has to win here for Misfits.
I feel like Vetheo has been the pivotal factor of Razork being able to make plays on the map. If Vetheo doesn't enable, then it gets kind of hard for Razork to play the game. And we've seen this in multiple games right now, where I don't think it's necessarily the LeBlanc, but then the LeBlanc is a playstyle that Vetheo likes to play.
Yes.
Not just skirmishing, but pushing your opponent further behind into the lane and then roaming. We saw it from Larssen, we saw it from Vetheo. They both had massive success with it.
Would you say, I love the way you frame it, that like it's Vetheo's success that has assisted and enabled Razork.
Absolutely.
Which conversely is actually very different to Summer, where Razork was the early game. You know, it was Razork that was opening up those, those moments. If we look over to the other side, as we do have a pause, as everyone can see at home, I feel as though Inspired has unlocked his laners. Inspired's been the recipient of so many kills. He's been like insane kill participation throughout the series. And now he's once again on that Viego, again, a champion that he's found success with, but hasn't found as many wins as Rogue would have hoped.
Yet you saw in the previous game when Inspired tried to play through bot lane because mid, top were sort of not the strongest. You've got a Lulu in the mid and your Camille is sort of slowly dying towards the top lane. You see that they tried to make plays towards the bot side of the map and it just was not happening for them. This is why I'm saying that I feel like mid lanes are so pivotal to these two teams' success because they want to play through that jungle and the duos are just so impactful.
And I think whenever you get to Game 5 in a best of, there's one thing to consider with regards to sort of the general meta, the power picks, the priorities that you see across the professional landscape. But then once you do get into the nitty-gritty of 2 different teams, then all of a sudden the individual performances, who's got the hot hands on the day, who's showing up, also begins to influence things, right? So that's where you end up seeing this now Syndra Akali matchup. You know, there's Zhao going through. And that also then adds to the pressure, to the difficulties that these players are going to face. I don't yet have an update for exactly why. We are paused. I will let you know as soon as I hear anything.
And it's actually kind of hard to play the Akali, especially in the earlier stages of the game. It's kind of hard to play the melee into range matchup. Syndra has a lot of power. I'm pretty sure that, Larssen is going with the electrocute as well. It's going to be a lot of poke. It's going to be a lot of damage. Akali is going to most likely lose priority in the mid lane, which that in turn unlocks Inspired on the map. But when it comes to the 2v2s, I think it comes down definitely to skill level and what you mentioned. And when we look at Misfits, we're like, these guys are really good at team fights. Why are they good at team fights? Is it the coordination? Is it their macro? Is it their micro?
Definitely not their macro.
It is that individual skill factor coming in and the clutch factor that their players have.
Yeah, of course, I'm being a little unfair there. I do have an update from our production team that we are making some lighting adjustments for the players. And I do think it is one of those things where it's a testament to just how serious this Game 5 is, you know? The environment, the setting, the fact that, as I mentioned, trying to be a little bit more overly dramatic than I need to. The last 2 times that Rogue were in the 5th game of a series, they did lose, right? The expectation was this was meant to be a one-sided affair, and very, very critically, Misfits in 2 of the 4 games have found a composition that allowed their style of fighting, of skirmishing, of disrupting the control that Rogue has.
I think it's influenced Rogue.
You branded it Skirmish City, and I think it's such a beautiful name because it's exactly what you said Misfits needed to do, Trouble. I just didn't believe you that they could do it.
It happened with Excel. When Rogue played Excel managed to make Rogue play a little bit more scrappy, skirmish heavy. I think it's happening right here with Misfits as well. And to be fair, it's not just skirmishing. I think Misfits had control in the previous game. I saw them for the first time controlling their waves, playing with vision, being careful. We saw them pushing down bot. Their 2 carries were in the front line. They got caught, they died. They had redone that push, and then they managed to do it correctly. So identifying your mistakes so quickly in game is what makes the difference. Not giving up, identifying the mistake and instantly looking to fix it.
Well, amazing. While we do have a brief pause, I'm going to take you back into the history books just for a brief moment. Remember, of course, whoever wins this goes to Worlds. Do you want to know the last time Odoamne went to Worlds? It was 2016 with H2K, made semi-finals. Do you want to know the last time Vander went to Worlds? It was 2016, semi-finals with H2K. Do you want to know who Vander was replaced by on Rogue?
I'm going to guess Trymbi.
There you go. There you go. Of course, Vander was there last year. I forget about that. I just wanted to add that fact. But just like 2 former teammates, I think there is interesting then, of course, for Misfits as an org, 2017, the last time they were in the World Championship, that very dramatic ending against SKT. While we wait for the game to get back in, it's just interesting when you look at the individual players and you look at the trajectories, how they're going to get there, the impact that they're going to have. As I can actually see, we are going back onto the Rift. All right, so history lesson with Trevor that he botched up is
You
now
actually know
over.
that history lesson was like my least favorite at school.
Oh, thank you.
I'm more into maths than history, please.
I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful because I definitely prefer history. But will history repeat itself? Because Misfits won the previous game and they were able to surprise, or will Rogue be able to find the control that they want to? Now, I do think Trymbi's Rell, different look, a lot of tools available to him, as well as this Gwen. And of course, for Kobbe on the Ashe, needs to have a stronger performance than what we've seen. So there's a lot of questions to be answered, but let's keep our focus. Let's look at the junglers as well, because Razork as well as Inspired, they have been able to be big talking points for who's been able to win the games.
Yeah, and both of the junglers are starting top side. That means they're gonna meet towards the bot side of the map, and that means whichever mid laner has more priority, whichever bot lane has more priority, this is who the jungler scale is gonna tip towards when it comes to taking that Skull Crab. What Inspired is really good at identifying is this. He clears his camp, he quickly sees where the priority lies in his team, and then if he has to sprint to the other side of the map to secure one Skull Crab, he will. Razork so far hasn't necessarily done this. He starts with one path, he ends with that, and as you can see, mid lane has priority. Larssen, as we mentioned, is going to be able to push in Vetheo onto that Akali, and bot lane so far have been trading their HP bars heavily to push for the side of Rogue.
And of course, we just caught a glimpse of that scatter the week. That can be gigantic when you think of the Gnar, the Sin, the Akali. So if Larssen is able to become the ginger god that Rogue need him to be, that could be the champion that will
Here we go.
influence this game. Once again, Inspired showing his face down in the bottom lane. Razork is on his blue at the moment.
He needs to sprint all the way to the top side of the map. I think he's doing that right now. Ooh, he didn't get spotted.
Okay, but Razork will step on the ward in just a moment. Larssen goes forward. Razork has found him, gets a couple autos, and falls back to safety, realizing the bottom lane is under pressure. Kobbe and Vander are being shoved back. Now Razork
Get your scuttle crab,
onto
Razork.
the scuttle. He's not pushing for it yet, and as it stands, Inspired and Larssen, they don't find a juicy target to pick off.
Yeah, but that's a lot of time that Razork has lost right there. Because Inspired is level 4, Razork is only level 3. He could have sprinted all the way to the other side, put some pressure down onto Odoamne. Now Odoamne has back to his base, and you can't put any pressure right there.
It's the opportunity cost, right? That's what you're talking about there. Of course, Razork got a couple autos, but Vetheo needed to farm. That wave was pushed into him, as you would expect. The opening levels in a Syndra matchup, and
timing-wise, he's a little bit ahead. He's going to finish his golems first, sprint back to base, and then go over his clear again, whilst Razork's Zen is going to be a few seconds behind. Keep this in mind because it's going to be so important when a play happens on the map and Razork is either one level down, just about to ding, or slightly late due to all of this domino effect.
And the question is then, does it have an impact on the plays, of course?
Exactly.
You know? And that's what we need to watch, because it's one thing having that advantage or that timing. Vetheo is trading very aggro into this minion wave. So many 5-point shurikens. Now no level 6, no ignite, so Larssen very, very aware of how much damage he can take. And also, look at the CS advantage, 41 to 29 for now. I do think you expect that. I do think you anticipate that in the early stages. And instead, Inspired's now just going to walk straight down. That's the crash down. Kobbe flashes away, uses the heal. That's already first blood picked up by Rogue. Teleport arrives. The scatter, the weak was fantastic. And do you remember where this happened in the previous game? Ends up being a 1-for-1 this time round.
Where did the kills go to? Very crucially though, because I believe that Trymbi died to the ignite of Vander. They let him go. And the other kill goes very crucially to Inspired's Viego, who has been so influential during the series. We've seen him get kill over kill over kill over kill, and he's literally a god on that Viego. So I think that Misfits need to be a little bit more careful with that. And again, we see these dives coming from Rogue over and over again. Like, what is Inspired doing there? His entire top side of camps have respawned. He needs to be on his second clear. Already know they pull the trigger for a dive. And as you can see, Vetheo is slightly late on that one, or they could have potentially picked up Larssen as well. Yeah,
I mean, that scat of the week made such a big difference. As soon as the TP completed, Larssen dissuaded any follow-up. And it does end up being a 1-for-1. Razork is
5 out of 5?
The pit, 4 out of 5. The previous
5.
game, Inspired was able to pick up the first dragon. But you're right, 4 out of 5 games, a reply to the early game pathing and kills and impact that Inspired has. The result has been that Razork picks up that first dragon. And that will at least be one of the stacks towards the soul. And across all the games, we've had many, many dragon fights that have determined the outcome of the match.
And I wouldn't honestly be surprised the second I see these two junglers hit level 6 to try and look for an opening on the other side of the map. Other side of the map, I'm obviously meaning top side of the map from Misfits. You've got the Gnar right there. You can try to punish the Gwen because bot lane has summoners for Rogue. You can't necessarily go towards there. But for the side of Rogue, Ashe, no heal, no flash.
Yeah.
You definitely want to be going down there.
And that's what Rogue have been doing all series long. For Rogue, it's playing through that bottom lane, again, as you would expect and anticipate. Hans Summers got himself the Hail of Blades, got himself a 16 CS advantage in the bottom lane. It's around 6 in the mid lane. Vetheo has been able to equalize. And we see the teleports there for Odo, jumping back into the top lane. Also a small advantage over HiRit for now. Just in terms of that wave pressure, but here's got the CS lead.
HiRit is a level up at this point, and I'm pretty sure he had a gigantic wave pushing towards him, so he will continue being up in CS for the time being. Now, the thing is that was not our problem with HiRit, not the way he's CSing, nor the way he's pressuring his lane. I think that has been fine. It's the timings that he chooses to take trades and getting caught off guard. And when he gets ganked, most of the times, yes, he's able to turn 1-for-1, but now I'm gonna stop my mouth because Rogue are pulling the same gank over again.
Dredge line catches out Trymbi this time round. Razork is around to help out the fray. The re-engage from Inspired. That's the first kill secured
Vetheo?
by Rogue. Vetheo has got the flash, has got the perfect execution and needs to use it. Kobbe's got no ultimate available. The Hawk flies out and Rogue get the kill and get out.
They just cannot reach, and my mind is actually blown how Rogue can brute force Sats dives in the face of Misfits. Vander.
Alcove Gaming, Alcove Gaming, Alcove Gaming, Rogue! Not gonna be able to do it just yet. They managed to catch Vander, they forced the flash, but now Trymbi's down low, below 50. It's Vander that picks it up with the ignite. All of a sudden, he gets the boop down low, Dredge line, pulls one Inspired back right into the minions. And that is the second kill picked up by Vander.
Yeah, but right now that will send Kobbe back to the fountain, and I'm not sure, but Hansama might look to push that, so Kobbe loses a lot of CS. He's already 20 CS back. I would love to see the state of the bot lane and see where the wave is pushing towards. Exactly, Hansama stays, tries to push in the wave, but right now, trying to count the casters right there. The way it is, I think it's gonna push towards Misfits right now, yeah.
Gonna get trimmed out. Yeah, I do think though, just like the previous game, you look at the top lane, HiRit is doing well. Not as well as the Jace, but he's bullying this Gwen pick from Odoamne. In the mid lane, Vetheo, yes, he's down on CS, but you expect that in the matchup. And he's been able to go even at 10 minutes, which is good. And with the first dragon secured, and now the Rift Herald being started, if Misfits can unlock this, they will close that gold deficit. And this is pretty good from Razork, but it looks like it might be contested.
Rogue are pulling the support, but very crucially, Trymbi, level 5, Vander is already level 6. The ultimate is not available to the Rell, and that's a Mega Gnar.
Dredge line will be able to catch out Inspired. The Ashe arrow flies down, that stuns up Rell. Not going to have the ultimate available. Vander's already thrown out his. The first kill secured, traded support for support, but that's a dead Odoamne. Vetheo escapes with his life, and here it's running for his own. The re-engage from Inspired. Razork and Vetheo trying to get the damage. The 3 Talon strike will slow things down, and HiRit gets taken out by Hansama.
Whoa, Hansama literally speedrun the entire map to make sure that he is on the top side of the map to assist his team on this fight. And it looked really grim at the start for Rogue, I'm gonna be honest with you, Trevor, because that Rell is level 5. Vander, I feel like overextends a little bit. HiRit's Mega Gnar is gonna fall very soon. See, he doesn't end up using the Gnar, and then he goes into mini Gnar form, which means that he cannot protect his team, he cannot use that engage or disengage tool, and then Hansama is right there just in time to assist and grab a kill on HiRit as well.
Yeah, and of course, while all that's going on, Kobbe was pushing that bottom lane. Trymbi Hex Flash over the wall, forcing out Kobbe's flash. So Rogue, 1,000 gold up. The Rift Herald was secured by Misfits, and I think it is fantastic that Vander's one of the players that keeps sort of leading the charge. 3 out of the 4 kills he's been involved in. Yes, you'd love for those kills to be on other members.
I mean, they have been diving them as well. It's not a surprise that Vander has been there when they're diving bot lane, but I felt like it was a little bit over-forced. You knew your Gnar was falling off to be mini Gnar. You don't necessarily have to force that. You've got the numbers advantage. You need to wait for Kobbe. And again, I'm going back to the same philosophy where I'm like, is Kobbe late or is the team not waiting for him?
I mean, that's the question we'll have to discuss after the fact, right? Because we don't have enough time now.
Absolutely.
But I also, this Odoamne Gwen, I'm not loving it yet. There is still time for it to show up. Right now, the Ashe arrow is available. But as I mentioned just a moment ago, of course, Vander went to Worlds last year with Rogue. If he's able to help his team win this, he'll take Misfits to Worlds and push Rogue into a position where they may not make it, right? That is terrifying. If Misfits win this series, right? Not only are they guaranteed, what that actually means for the rest of the field is that between Fnatic, Mad Lions, Rogue, and G2, as well as Vitality, throw them into the mix, only 2 more teams make it.
I'll tell you one thing. You said that Vander has the potential to upset his previous team from going to Worlds. What if I tell you that Vander is one of the factors why Rogue went to Worlds, why maybe Misfits might make Worlds?
Well, that means he would need to use this Nautilus to effect because his team is still a little bit down, but they've got the second dragon. We're playing for another Infernal Soul.
That Rift Herald is still sitting in Razork's pocket. I'm just looking at the inventories and I'm waiting for that Rocket Belt to be completed on the side of Vetheo so they can start making plays on the map. Because you mentioned how the Gwen hasn't necessarily worked. Well, neither has the Gnar so far.
No, it hasn't. But to be fair,
There we go.
35 CS advantage plus the pressure, while it hasn't had a bigger impact, I think a 35 CS lead in a kill is working.
Okay, so what I'm alluding to is that HiRit's Gnar in this series hasn't been that fantastic. We haven't been so surprised by it. Now he has his chance to actually surprise us and show us what he can do with it. He has been given every single resource that you can give him.
And now
the
he
kills,
needs to deliver.
The attention, 2 towers, turret platings, rift heralds. Now he needs to take all that gold and put it back into his team.
2,000 gold lead.
Here he comes.
For HiRit. Gnar will be available to him very soon. He's TP'd in. The boomerangs come back. Scout of the week stuns up Vander. He has already used the ultimate, buy some time with a stopwatch. Where is the rest of Misfits?
Where is Vetheo?
Vetheo is stuck in the mid lane. He's putting pressure onto the tower. There's a teleport coming in from Odo from behind. 5 members of Rogue fighting onto 3 members of Misfits. Gnar has completed for HiRit, and Rogue back away. Yes, Vetheo didn't TP in, but he got a plate, he got the wave, and he got the TP out of Larssen and Odo.
You know what Misfits have learned through this entire series? Restraint. That's exactly what they're showing here. Double TP invested by Rogue results in 0. They don't grab anything out of Misfits jungle. They don't put any vision down. They don't take any tower, and they don't take any kill with them. The way that Misfits are showing restraint and patience is actually mind-blowing here.
And it is also a page out of Rogue's book. Because
they've learned from the best.
Thank you. That was the point, is that in the games that Misfits have won, they force Rogue to play their game, right? They force the skirmishes. Now, in that scenario, HiRit TP's in with Gnar at the right time. The threat of it, plus flash available, means that Rogue had to pay respect. So Odo and Larssen TP in. They don't get the tower. They don't get more during that dive. But the 30 CS difference between Summer and Kobbe means that the shield bow has been able to be picked up. Proto belt for Vetheo. So, Strikebreaker as well for the Syndra correction for HiRit. And there will be another Rift Herald popping up in just a few moments' time.
So the important thing to remember here is that this is a repeat of game number 4. HiRit takes both towers top lane with the help of Razork and the Rift Herald, and then he snowballs the game from there on out. I think all eyes are on this Gnar on the next play. A minute and a half, he needs to shove out his wave, make sure it's pushed, because he needs to walk all the way down there. No teleport, but that Gnar is going to be so useful on the way that they just use it to engage or disengage. Rogue playing bot side again, but Razork has read the play.
Welcome to the bottom lane, Razork. HiRit. Nar's going to be available. The snip goes away. He's just about to Gnar out, but he's caught out by Larssen. Scout of the week finally has now some time. Vetheo's got the teleport available and begins to channel it. This will stop the engage.
Look at the rest of Misfits though. Look at the map. Instantly, you see that the second the teleport comes in, you see that Razork is pushing in that mid lane wave instantly. They lose nothing. Macro-wise, Misfits are doing perfectly fine.
But they will lose this tower for now. That's the first of the game, and I need to throw this out there, all right? As we mentioned, Misfits have not won a game against Rogue in 7 titles before game 1. Today, they've won 2 out of 4, right? Misfits all time have only ever won 4 games against Rogue.
Make it
today,
6.
They might make it 3 today alone. And finally, as a quick stat, Rogue was only behind in gold at 15 minutes, 3 games out of the 18 in regular season. Today, they've been behind in gold in 2 out of their 5 games and lost both of them, right? So Rogue, they do need to bring something back. It's 5 seconds to Infernal. They are only 1,000 gold down. It is by no means game over, but it feels like Misfits are in control. They have their handle on the reins. And with a mythic item advantage over Odoamne's Gwen, this could be an advantage to them.
Larssen just backed. He's not there. That means that Rogue cannot walk too deep because they do not have their Syndra. They might have to give it up due to that back timer from Larssen. They cannot contest. They're giving third Dragon to Misfits.
At 17 minutes.
That means in 5 minutes time, Rogue are going to have to be pulled to fight, whether they like it or not, whether they're ready or not. Misfits want it right now.
Ashe arrow straight between the uprights. Summer and Trymbi split. Dragon is secured. Earth, wind, and fire. It's like music to Misfits' ears. The only thing they need to avoid is the holy hand grenade that Rogue could throw. Because do not discount the AoE abilities that can come down from Rogue. It feels like a much bigger lead than maybe it is combat-wise. However, I think playstyle and decision-making, Misfits currently are keeping Rogue back.
You're hitting me with quick starts all the time. I'll hit you with a trouble start out of the back of my head because I was looking at this earlier. Misfits are almost rarely ahead in 15, but when they are, they win around 70% of the time. That is a very large percentage to win, and right now, they are ahead, but the most important thing is how they play. Again, restrained.
Yeah.
They've put down their skirmish boots and they're like, we're gonna play this proper, we're gonna be pushing our waves, we're gonna use our vision, and we're not gonna pick up unneeded fights.
40 CS advantage for HiRit. The restraint is helping him out. 35 creep score lead here for Razork for the time being. And this time round, the Gnar is working fantastic. Odoamne, this Gwen, for 18.5 minutes is not convincing me. Odo wants to get back to World, said that last time he was there, 2016, he was on a team with Vander, and now this last second pivot. The Fiora, I thought sucked, I didn't like it. The Lulu, I thought sucked, I didn't like it. And what will the story be for Gwen?
Look at that, they're pulling down Trymbi because they're scared Odoamne is going to die to HiRit. HiRit is on fire right now. They also have to pull down Inspired. This is crazy. This man is pulling so much attention to him, blowing flash from Hans Sama to get away from the arrow.
Death by 1,000 cuts. That is the current approach that Misfits are taking. But have they overstayed their welcome? The crash down, the magnet storm, the engage from Trymbi. Odo teleports into behind. Vander's going low. Odo continues to chase. That forces the flash away. So that's a kill back. And Rogue will be able to put some pressure mid,
for a tower.
but they lose the bottom tower and the TP as well.
Absolutely, and if you look at the TPs, Vetheo is going to be back very shortly. HiRit has his, but now Rogue are using the Rift Trail to take not only a kill, but take mid lane tower. This is going to be so important to try and bleed their vision into Misfits, or most importantly, not even bleed into Misfits jungle, making sure that they're there in time for the Infernal Dragon, that they have enough vision that they can walk freely and safely into that river to try and contest. Again, Razork, a little bit overextended. He's so fixated on getting that red buff that he ends up being insta-punished.
And not the first time this series.
Yeah.
Razork and Misfits, they do tend to overcommit as a team, at least kind of, grouped up a little. He does go down, he does get punished, but we're 2 minutes away from the Infernal Soul going in favor of Misfits. And when you look at the damage profiles that they have, again, very beneficial to Misfits. Key flashes are all available but Vander for Misfits, nothing for Hans Sama, so that could be a problem as we're 1.5 minutes away. But let's look at the vision. What setup is there? It's not the deepest vision from...
No, but look where Rogue are. If you choose to trade Infernal Soul for Baron, I think Misfits will take the Infernal Soul, especially when you have a split pusher that's winning right there, and you can actually dive them. Or you can have one member taking the Infernal Soul and then sprint the entire rest of your team going towards the Baron. So for Misfits, you have so many options on how you want to play the map. You have HiRit keeping Odoamne in lane.
Another flash just before the dragon.
On the 2 carries, this is so huge. Kobbe has fired 2 arrows. He's gotten 2 summoners.
And that was on a champion that he didn't find an impact earlier this series. HiRit on the Gnar, on a champion that didn't have an impact earlier this series. I think Draco said earlier earlier on the analyst desk how today Misfits' top half of the map is playing better. I also think it might be fair to say that the adaptation and the ability to step up on the individual champions is also showing up as we're now in Game 5.
Very important. 30 seconds. Who is the first one in the river? It is going to be Misfits. Misfits are the first ones in. They're the first ones that are going to lay down the vision. Larssen was late for the previous one and they missed it. Now he has to blow his TP. Oh, that's a very ballsy TP from here because I think he's Mini-Gnar.
Oh, here it is, Mini-Gnar for now, but he needs to start stacking that. I think important though, Mini-Gnar before the dragon fight, good. You can stack it up. Chuck out those autos, chuck out those boomerangs. 80%, 90%. It's about time to go. No.
Rogue have no vision into this river. They have to brute force the way into it, and he's about to pop and be Mega Gnar. They can hold them while he's Mega Gnar and take the dragon. I think Inspired is going to have to go for a steal.
Flash is available to HiRit. If he finds the target, he needs to find someone against the wall. There's no flash for Larssen. That's a two-man knockback and a one-man stun. Vetheo's chasing into Hansama, who's flashless, but Vetheo gets chunked out by the unstoppable force. The dragon's inside the pit, so is Odoamne. Dragon is secured by Misfits. That's the Infernal Soul. They lose themselves Vander, though, and the rest of Rogue get away. A one-for-one kill, but the soul goes to Misfits. Inspired was himself a Nautilus. He breaks the heart of HiRit, gets the Heartbreaker, the second as well, looking for another. Kobbe sidesteps, manages to take the blast cone to safety. 3 kills, but for the soul?
Are they gonna pull the trigger though to go for the Baron? Because Smite is coming up for Inspired. They have Hansama there, they have Larssen there. Inspired is doing a lot of damage himself onto that Baron. And for 20 seconds, Razork is dead. HiRit for another 20, doesn't have the teleport. The only saving grace could be Vetheo. Look at the arrow from Kobbe. It's not up yet. They don't have the tools to get in there. So yes, they take the Infernal Soul, but they trade it all in all for the Baron.
Unbelievable. Baron will be secured, and after all of the good work, after all of the early game control that Misfits had, they are now in trouble.
HiRit is playing gatekeeper. He's not allowing anyone to come in, and the second they find their opening, they engage, they kill off Trymbi first, and then they chase down Inspired. You kill Inspired, you take the Smite away. HiRit is gonna go mini now though, so that means they need to bail out. What does Vander do? He sacrifices himself once they take the dragon. This is it. Misfits need to back off, but those low HP bars bait them out. Beautiful ultimate coming in from Inspired as well, and once you get one reset, we have seen what happens.
Are you not entertained, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else? Infernal Soul to Misfits, Baron buff to Rogue. It is game 5 in our first series of the summer playoffs, and it is Rogue with a 2,000 gold lead and the Red Bull Baron power play. They are now pressuring Misfits backwards. When it comes to experience, when it comes to history, Rogue have the advantage. The Misfits were never meant to be here. Can they find a team fight? Can they get the Elder? That has been so good to Misfits all summer.
So far, they won 2 games, not needing to even see the Elder on the map. The only thing that happens right now is that it puts Rogue back into the game, because all that gold that they were bleeding is back, and now they have even more in their pockets. It's returned with interest.
It's their game.
And the problem is that whilst HiRit was able... Oh!
That's the dredge line. The enchanted crystal arrow comes out, but nobody's dead yet. Odoamne, your Gwen, snip, 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 needlework, doing the job. Vetheo gets out of range of the Syndra ultimate by some time, manages to trade his life 1 for 1. The Mega Gnar comes back because the stopwatch comes out. Here it's going low, less than 1,000. He's taken out. Inspired needs the resets to break the hearts of all Misfits fans, but Kobbe stays alive. The shield bow keeps him up.
He's dead.
Finally goes down. Inspired's got the reset. It's a 2v1. Looking for another. Razork's in so much trouble. Inspired with the blade of the Ruined King. Viego shuts down Misfits for the ace. The pentakill. And 9 members on the Rift are dead. Rogue are in absolute control.
Inspired loses all his teammates, but he breaks Misfits alone. That Viego performance, that one first kill that he got early into the game, we said how important it was going to be. He snowballs, Misfits dies.
This is heartbreaking for Misfits.
So important here. Look at Vetheo. They catch Larssen right there. Beautiful ultimate coming from Razork, and Vetheo is stuck in the backline. He doesn't have anywhere to go. He's stuck into his shroud. He misses his ultimate crucially onto Larssen, and by the time he is back, he is actually dead. A beautiful ultimate from Trymbi to try and stop the fight, but no one is in the backline to do damage. And I think instead of hitting Odoamne right there, you need to focus down Inspired. He's gonna go through the shield bow, he's gonna go through the Syndra, he's gonna go through your entire team, because this man is angry and he wants to go to Worlds.
Yo, Reddit, if Aphelios gets 200 years for his call, what the hell do you call that from Viego? The first pentakill of the summer season. Inspired puts Rogue in his backpack after the setup. He got the resets after the Infernal that opened Baron. And Trouble, he got the Penta ahead of the Inhib to give a 3,000 gold lead. To have control of the Rift with a minute until Elder. Now, Misfits are not out yet, but damn, is it looking hard.
It's only 2,000 gold difference right here. Elder is coming up. If we have to think of who Elder favors usually, it is Misfits by default, but
traditionally, they've been
9-0-3. Sterak's, Syndra, now GA added into his kit. You think you've killed him, you have to kill him twice. And they weren't able to even kill him once in the previous fight. Now, look at all the vision that Misfits have on their side of the jungle. If you can toggle the vision that Misfits have in this river and in their jungle, yeah.
They're now fighting
they
into
can't
darkness.
see nothing.
40 seconds until the Elder is up. This could be the final fight. This could be it. Now, do Rogue even risk it? Do they try to play the map? The winner of this will be obviously facing the winner of G2 versus Mad Lions, the loser, depending on the seed.
Oh, they want to end the game. They don't want the Elder.
To push the rest of Misfits, starting to recall. The inhibitor turret will fall. Now remember, this forces Misfits back. It gains control of the mid lane. It allows Rogue to peel back, place more vision, and then set up for Elder. 10 seconds to go. TP is up for Vetheo and HiRit. Vetheo still not level 16, by the way, as Razork almost gets caught out. That's the engage. Razork pulls the trigger with the audacious charge. He holds on to that.
You can't walk into that. You cannot walk into that, Misfits. You need vision and you don't have it. Who face checks? Who gives their lives first for Misfits to try and go for this fight? HiRit so low on his rage bar. Is he going to be able to charge it up in time that they need this clutch Gnar to come out? And Rogue are playing in their territory. Look at the choke point that Misfits have to go through.
Kobbe's waiting for the next Hawk shot. He's still got the Crystal Arrow available to him. Vetheo, crucially, not level 16, by the way. Yes, HiRit using the Gromp to charge up. We're in for a final fight. Make sure you get everyone to watch this one. Whoever wins this fight could literally end the game with 30 minutes.
Scatter the Wick down.
Vander caught out. Scatter the Wick's a relatively low cooldown. There's the engage. The Crystal Arrow has been fired. No further follow-up. And of course, here it's not Mega Gnar yet. He's got the flash. But can he find the engage? Rogue have not started Elder. It's a risk. That's it. Razork gets caught. Once again, Scatter the Weak. The volley comes out. Oh my word, nobody is yet able to fight. Mega Gnar finally proc. This has to be the go signal. The Mega Gnar comes backwards. Not going to find the stun just yet. Kobbe's trying to get the damage out, but it's already lost and has got himself 1, 2, 3 members of Misfits are falling. That's it. Rogue have done it after 30 minutes and an inspiring performance from Inspired. Rogue take down Misfits, turn to the base, and while they will lock down the Nexus and guarantee a ticket to Worlds, this was not the way it was supposed to be. Rogue got pushed, Rogue got beaten, but Rogue did not get broken. Rogue take down Misfits, 3-2. And that was a hell of a performance.
Do you need a hand there, Trevor?
I am knackered, and I can only hope that everyone watching at home felt what I felt, because that was a dude.
Someone give this guy a back massage that you see on your screens right now, because oh my god, was that start to finish inspired. He started the comeback, he finished the comeback, and if anyone ever dares to call Rogue chokers in a best of 5, this man will stand up tall.
And spare a thought for Misfits. You saw the players on your screens in the background of the shot. How devastating it must be to be that close. Tantalizingly close. All credit to them. The doubters, the haters, the naysayers. Misfits push Rogue harder than anybody expected, but ultimately fell short in the final hurdle. And for Rogue, they're back at Worlds. It's not the journey they were looking for, but it was the result that they expected.
And I think it was also done in a Rogue fashion as well, where they showed us the versatility, all the different ways that they can win through the mid lane, the top, the bot. You want it, they got it. Yes, they showed some
weaknesses,
scrappy fights, but when it does really matter, they do step up. Now, your key players of the series, vote at LEC on Twitter. Inspired, inspired, or inspired. I'm just kidding. It's Odoamne, inspired, or Larssen.
I mean, what a series to open the summer playoffs. The approach to game, there'll be a lot to discuss. I've already seen so much chatter around drafts. I've seen so much chatter around style and how these teams have played. But I think today, undoubtedly, individual performances, individual outplays have had such a big impact. And like Vetheo, Razork, Inspired, Larssen, they've dominated the conversation a lot of today. But that last game, that Viego, it was a thing to behold.
He started it. He started the comeback at the Infernal Dragon. Yes, you can argue Misfits overstepped. They overstayed their welcome. But it takes a caliber of a player to take that split-second decision and punish it. And not just punish it, take the entire game off you.
Unbelievable stuff. We're soon going to hear from Trymbi before Inspired joins us in the LEC post-game lobby. Do not go anywhere. Congratulations, Rogue. That was a hell of a series.
That was insane.
It was indeed. All right, we're not going to an ad break just yet. Catch some final glimpses there of Misfits on your screen. Obviously, as they did lose today, they will now await the victor of Fnatic versus Vitality next weekend. It was close. We're finally going to break. We've been played off just like the Oscars. Rogue, congratulations. Don't go anywhere.
Even though League of Legends is not a physical sport, there's the same eagerness and nerves before every single esports match than I had. The same in swimming. It was always about getting closer to a new high that you can reach, an endless pursuit of perfection. Even though I've come so close, I don't feel bad about it. If I work harder, it is gonna happen.
Kia, movement that inspires.
and welcome back to the LEC stage. Rogue defeat Misfits after an intense series. Trymbi, thank you so much for joining me. Any first impression after that series? You must be so tired, honestly.
I'm really tired and I'm happy that we won because, yeah, last two games for me, they were not looking too hot. So I'm really happy that we actually won because, yeah, it was really hard battle. And yeah, I have to agree to the fact that, yeah, Misfits played really well and it was hard for us to like, yeah, I mean, we also couldn't really play the way we wanted and they were always like trying to force us to do stuff and pressure. So it was a really good series, I would say.
You told me that you couldn't play the way you wanted. What prevented you from playing this way from Misfits' side?
I mean, we kind of made ourselves not play the way we wanted, I would say, mostly. And Misfits was, sometimes they would like counter us really well with it, or like the way they played around some stuff. And I felt like we had so many situations that we started the team fights, we were trying to like fight, get some trades, and the trades were like so close and we misplayed mechanically some of them that it's just so unlucky. Like I think in the fourth game that I had situations when I flashed in with Leona, I had like 1-7 at some point, right? But I was always flashing in. I think at one team fight I flashed in and I realized that I have ult in 5 seconds. I'm like, what am I even doing, honestly? Like, why would I even go there if I don't have ult? But if I had ult there, the team fight should be probably over. So there are a lot of shaky situations, at least from my side. And I was not happy with them, but I was trying to just embrace it because I was trying my best to be in the present moment to be able to give as much as I can for my team, and yeah.
Yeah, and afterwards, as a clutch player and an engaged player, especially playing support, you have to go for these ballsy plays, I want to say. But you're talking about mechanical slip-ups. Do you think it's the nerves playing in these kind of moments?
I mean, it became stressful at some point to play the games because they felt that we are on the edge of winning, and then suddenly we just gave up our lead again. So it was like, yeah, it was just battle. We were just battling kind of with each other even, or like with ourselves that, yeah, we just need to play slow. We have to make plans and just have to actually be able to play out the stuff properly if you want to look for anything. Because I think when the things started to get shaky, we started to look for a lot of stuff, I think in 4th and 5th game. So it was really scary sometimes because we looked for a lot of plays that would be really good if we played it a little bit better, I would say. Or like, yeah, we just took the fights that we didn't need to because we could already win out the thing, but we just decided to take it, and due to the fact that we didn't play the best way possible, we just lose out of it.
What does it take to stay afloat in these kind of situations? Because you were the favorite team coming in today. Most of people expected the quick 3-0 from Rogue. And then I feel like throughout the series, the momentum switched. And then we were like, can Misfits actually take it? So you're talking about these moments where you have to calm down, stay collected, and go for these smart plays. Tell me about the series, how it was between the games, and how you stayed calm and collected to grab the last win in the end.
Well, I think we just need to realize that, I mean, from my previous experience with spring finals, I would say that series is never over, I would say, until you actually win it. So you just need to actually focus on the fact that, yeah, I mean, we're like 2-1, I think, or we were 1-0 and we kind of stomped them because they were quite inting first game, I would say. It was, yeah, we just need to calm down and get ourselves ready that, yeah, what happens if they're actually not gonna give us free kills, and we have to do something from ourselves. And yeah, sometimes it's hard, but I think after losses, we had a really good mentality. We're trying to get back, like everyone was doing something to make it up and try to, like, I don't know, like there are different options. Like me, for example, I tried to do some slow-paced breathing or something like this to try to get more relaxed and, yeah, just overall just think about everything through and just try to back to the series. Because, well, I don't remember first 3 games, honestly, right now. But last 2 games, as I said, I was really shaky. I was trying my best. I think I played the games well, even though I look like a complete inter, honestly. And yeah, I just had to focus on coming back. And yeah, I was trying my best to do that.
And you call it int. I feel like it's some experience you can use in the next series that are going to come, and also a big event that's going to come next month, because Trymbi, you just qualified for Worlds. It's going to be your first ever World Championship.
It's crazy.
Well, tell me more about this. What does it mean to you to get it on the first year you to play in the LEC?
It's really hard to say anything, because at first, like after last year, I didn't really expect to get to LEC that fast after what was happening in my spring split. So, well, the fact that I get to play in such team with such players, and I am a factor that makes it up that we can actually go towards. quite insane. Like not much to say. Like I was not right now. I think I don't even realize that it happened. So probably tomorrow I'll be more happy than now, because now I'm like a little bit mad and tired about what I was doing today. But it's relieving like that we actually won that series, and now we can think like we don't need to stress out about getting towards, right? We can fully focus on the playoffs right now.
Yeah, focus on the rest of playoffs, and you'll get time to absorb this. I don't want to hold you for too long, Trymbi. I know you had a long day, so thank you so much for this interview. And have a good weekend and enjoy the rest of playoffs.
Thank you very much.
And that's all for us now. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in a couple minutes with the post-game lobby with Shocks and Inspired. Stay tuned.